What do I care about so deeply that I am willing to protect it with my life, my choices, my attention, and my practice? That was the question that came to me on my walk this morning. And I could feel it in my body because we are living in a time where so much is happening around us. And yet, so many of us are being encouraged to look away, to stay distracted, to stay positive, to protect our peace, to keep scrolling, to avoid what feels too heavy, too uncomfortable, too inconvenient, or too difficult to name. And I understand why. I ignore things too. I have distracted myself, doubted myself, second guessed myself of what I knew to be true. And this is how powerful distraction is. But ignoring something doesn't make it go away. It never has and it never will. And what I want to explore in this reflection is the difference between grounding and numbing. Hi, I'm Veronica. Welcome or welcome back. In this reflection, I explore attention, trauma, false peace, embodiment, and what it means to return to the body when the world keeps asking us to look away. We'll look at how distraction scatters us, how avoidance can be mistaken for peace, and why coming back into the body isn't just a wellness practice, but a truth practice. And so before we begin, let's take a slow breath in together. Simply notice what's here. Notice the state of your body. Notice the places that feel settled, the places that may already want to move, reach, or leave. And instead of judging that impulse, soften around it. Let your body arrive as it is. Slow down, gather your attention. And as you exhale, soften into the space you are in. Let's begin. I was thinking about the world we live in, and honestly, I felt frustrated. Not just because there is so much happening around us, but because it can feel insane to witness what is happening while so many people are being encouraged to look away. But the thing I keep coming back to is this: ignoring something doesn't make it go away. It never has. In yoga, there is a word, avidya, ignorance. Not just ignorance as in not knowing, but ignorance as in not seeing clearly, a forgetting of truth, a distortion of reality. And I think we live in a culture that encourages avidya. We're told not to focus on the negative. We're told to think positive thoughts, protect your peace, love and light, stay in your own lane. Don't talk about the things that make people uncomfortable. You see, I believe in grounding. I believe in coming back into yourself. I believe in meditation, in practice, in breath, in creating the inner conditions where you can actually meet life. But there is a difference between grounding and numbing. Grounding brings you back into your body so you can face reality with more capacity. Numbing disconnects you from your body so you don't have to feel what's true. And that difference matters because a lot of what people call peace isn't peace. It's avoidance, it's distraction, it's survival dressed up as spirituality. And I know that because I lived it. I grew up in a home where things were ignored, where harm was ignored, where children were not always believed, where people didn't have the capacity to face what was happening because they themselves were in a continuous loop of trauma, in survival, in their own pain. This doesn't give them a pass or an excuse for that behavior. I'm just pointing out beneath the surface of what is actually happening. And when things are ignored in a family, they don't disappear. They become patterns, silence, sickness. They become the thing everyone learns to walk around. And that's why this matters so much to me. Because when I look at the larger world, I see the same pattern. I see families avoiding the truth. I see communities avoiding the truth. I see society avoiding the truth. And we keep calling that peace. But it isn't peace. Peace isn't pretending that everything is fine or refusing to look. Peace isn't being so distracted that you no longer feel the chaos around you. That's survival. Peace is the capacity to stay present with the truth. That is very different. And I think this is why so many people don't know what they are willing to fight for. And this is so important. This is connected to your soul. This is connected to your purpose because our attention has been taken away from us. Our bodies have been numbed. Our instincts have been overridden. Our care has been redirected toward things that don't actually nurture or nourish us. So when you ask someone, what would you fight for no matter what? Many people have a programmed answer. Will say, my children, my family, my pet, my peace, myself. And of course, these things matter. But what do they actually mean? What about your mind? What about your attention? What about your body? What about the land? What about your voice, your food, your spirit, your right to live awake, embodied, and free? Your freedom. These aren't small things because anything you consume affects your attention, what you watch, what you eat, what you listen to, what you scroll through, what you normalize, what you ignore. It all affects your energy. It affects your body. It all affects what you're able to see and what you are willing to protect. My work isn't about teaching meditation so people can escape their lives. My work is about bringing people back into their bodies so they can actually meet their lives, so they can feel again. And I know that might sound like something we don't want to do, especially when our bodies are in pain. And so that you can feel the truth again, so that you can recognize what is yours and what was programmed into you. So we can stop outsourcing our knowing to everything outside of ourselves. Because for me, healing didn't begin because everything was peaceful. Healing began because my life wasn't working. My body felt broken. It I was burnt out, I was stressed, I was disconnected from my spirit, from my sense of self, from life. I was living in survival without knowing it because that was all I knew. I was living in a body that didn't feel like home. And I knew I couldn't keep going that way. I had my son that I needed to care for. So I told myself I need to be healthy for him, but also I needed to come back to myself. And at one point, I realized I cannot keep numbing what is trying to speak. I cannot keep silencing my body. I cannot keep listening to the voice in my head that isn't even me because there is a voice created by fear, by trauma, by conditioning, by survival, by what is familiar. And when we don't come back into our bodies, that voice runs our lives. Some people call that protection. I do not. My nervous system protects me, my body protects me, my instincts protect me, my intuition protects me, my spirit protects me. But the ego, built from fear, doesn't liberate me. It keeps me trapped in old patterns. It keeps me afraid. It keeps me disconnected from the deeper truth of who I am. And when people are afraid, disconnected, and distracted, they become easy to control. That isn't just personal, that's collective. A distracted person is easier to manipulate. A numb person is easier to sell to. A disconnected person is more likely to believe that what is harmful is normal. And that's why coming back to the body isn't just a wellness practice, it's a spiritual practice, it's a truth practice, it's a liberation practice. Because once you come back into your body, you start to feel what you were taught to ignore. You start to notice what you were taught to normalize. You start to care about the things you were taught were too big, too negative, too inconvenient, or too uncomfortable to talk about. And yes, that can be painful. It can be overwhelming. I am not going to sugarcoat the process of healing. It can make you feel like you are the only one seeing it. But I don't think the answer is to go numb again. I don't want to be numbed. I don't want to be distracted from what truly matters. I don't want a false peace that depends on denial. I want a peace that is rooted in truth, a peace that can look at suffering without collapsing, a peace that can feel anger and understand what it's protecting, a peace that can say, this matters, I matter, my body matters, my attention matters, the land matters, the children matters, the truth matters. Because sometimes what upsets you is showing you what you care about. Sometimes your anger isn't the problem. Sometimes your anger is pointing to the sacred place where something sacred has been violated. And I'm using anger just as a point of orientation. Any energy, whether seen positive or negative, work the same way. And the work is to listen to it, to refine it, to let it become devotion, to let it become boundaries, to let it become action, to let it become the message you are here to share and to create. I don't believe we are here to protect a false version of peace. I believe we're here to become strong enough again, grounded enough, and honest enough to meet reality, to come back into the body, into truth, into care, to come back into the part of us that knows what is sacred before the world tells us what to believe. If you feel disturbed by the world right now, that doesn't mean you're the one who is insane. It may mean you're awake enough to feel what is happening. And that is why, more than ever, it matters that you come back into your body, not to escape the world, not to pretend that everything is fine, not to protect your peace by abandoning reality, but to gather yourself back. If your attention is scattered, your energy is scattered too. And if your energy is scattered, it becomes harder to hear your soul. It becomes harder to be in relationship with your spirit. It becomes harder to know what is true, what matters, what is sacred, and what you are here to protect. This is why distraction isn't harmless. Distraction isn't just something we do when we're bored. Distraction is one of the ways we remain disconnected from ourselves. And a disconnected person is easier to manipulate, easier to exhaust, confuse, and easier to convince that what is harmful is normal. So when the insanity of the world tries to make you look away, don't fall asleep. Don't look away. Come back. Come back to your breath. Come back to your body. Come back to your attention. Come back to the part of you that still knows. Because your body isn't just something to calm down. Your body is where your truth lives. Your body is where your discernment lives. Your body is where your soul can reach you. And maybe the question isn't, how do I stay calm while the world is falling apart? Maybe the question is this: what do I care about so deeply that I am willing to become present for it? What do I care about so deeply that I am willing to stop leaving myself for it? What do I care about so deeply that I am willing to protect it with my life, with my choices, my attention, and my practice? Because that's where the work begins, not in looking away, not in love and light that refuses to look at the shadow, but in choosing to return. So, after naming all this, the next question becomes, how do we come back? Because it isn't enough just to say the world is distracting us. It isn't enough to say people are avoiding the truth. It isn't enough to say we need to return to the body. We have to ask what that actually looks like in real life, in a tired body, in a distracted mind, in a nervous system that has learned to survive by leaving, in a world that constantly pulls our attention away from what actually matters. As you move through the rest of your day, notice what tries to take your attention, your energy, your life force away. Notice what invites you to numb, to scroll, to rush, dismiss, or call avoidance peace. And then notice what your body still knows. What does your body tighten around? What does your heart ache for? What does your anger protect? What does your care keep returning to? You don't have to carry the whole world in your body, but you can begin by refusing to leave yourself and to leave your body. You can begin by coming back to your breath, body, and attention, back to the part of you that still knows what is sacred. Peace isn't the absence of truth. Peace is the capacity to stay present with truth. This is the heart of gathering pieces of you. Distraction scatters you. Presence gathers you. Embodiment returns you to what is true. And love, state of love, allows you to stay. Slow down, gather yourself, and return to what is true. If this reflection spoke to you, subscribe for more episodes like this or visit my website to learn more about gathering pieces of you and to stay connected with my work. This is Veronica. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a beautiful day.